all the other courses other than the primary class, which is Telugu class, everything else will be taught in English. You will speak in English with your other people, like other students will speak in English. I think China is probably better in skill because you have, I think if you look at all the manufacturing things, you definitely have natural resources. It is obviously better for you have.
Hello，各位小伙伴，大家好，我是郭，欢迎收看《郭秀》第11期。在这里和我天不一样的本期嘉宾，我请到的是曾经在印度班加罗尔和海哲巴亚马逊工作，后转战美国西雅图和旧金山。他的目标呢是在35岁前攒够200万美元并退休。同时呢，他也是我见过最优秀的工程师。那么他有什么样的故事呢？下面和我一起来了解一下吧。
First of all, introduce yourself, like where you're from and your academic background, your work experience stuff, and let audience know you more.
My name is Achyut. I was born in India. I was actually born, so my father works for Indian Railways. Keep moving around a lot of places because government jobs in India have lost a lot of job roles where they keep transferring you from one location to another location.
Sure.
So you keep moving around. All my childhood I've been around like multiple places. Fun thing about that, not so fun thing I guess about that state is there is alcohol ban in that state.
Oh, Hyderabad.
No. In the state where I was studying my engineering degree, the whole state you cannot purchase.
Is that like under a certain age or it's
No, it's for everybody.
Completely-
Like it's banned.
completely banned?
Yeah. See, reason you know about this person called Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah, I know this part.
That person was born in that state, and he was a person who sort of preached that you should not drink or like you should not turn into these bad things like smoking cigarettes or like. I think to honor him, they sort of made that state as like ban alcohol.
But I also heard one really interesting story is that this guy, Mahatma Gandhi, he wants to test his tolerance. So I think he was sleeping with some beautiful girls.
Yes.
And he was testing if he can withstand that. And
There are a lot of.
I'm not sure if that's correct or not.
Even I don't know actually. So there is a lot of shady things which are associated to that person. That he was not as good as what people say he was. But I personally don't know. Usually there will be one local language medium schools and one will be English medium schools where they communicate in English. But then you will also be taught other languages like Hindi is one larger language which a lot of states commonly adopt. It's not like a national language, but a lot of states understand Hindi and a lot of population speaks Hindi. Hindi is sort of pseudo taught into a lot of schools. I was taught Hindi to some extent in my schooling, so that's why I am able to speak to other people. And I've learned personally also a little bit more because I like to travel, and then usually the northern states, northern part of India, majority of them understand or speak Hindi. And if you want to like travel to those villages or whatever remote places, it's harder if you just speak English or if you just speak.
So it's
Because not a lot of people from villages or from like rural areas speak English.
So even if like you as Indian people travel to different states, you still need maybe some agent or some people help you.
If you know Hindi, it will work for majority of the northern states. But if you want to travel in South India, every state has their own language. There are like 6 states or 5 states in South India. Every state has its own language.
Also working in India, I know. I guess you have a working in Amazon in India.
Oh yeah. After my college, I worked. Hiring in India is slightly different from I think hiring in US. When you are studying in colleges, right? These universities. What happens is there's this concept called placement, where like all the major companies, if your college is like a good enough college, like there is some metrics where they give rankings to colleges, and then companies see the college, and then it looks at the parameters of the college and decides okay if they want to visit that college or not. Let's say if your college is sort of selected that okay this is a good college, and then these companies which are both international companies as well as local companies, they come to your college and then they have these selection process where they give exams only to the students of that college, and then they select some people and then
So it's kind of like a career fair where companies are here and.
But the difference between career fair and this is that in career fair they come and sort of give you pitch about the company, right? So the company is blah 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 and this is why you should hire, and they take your resumes or something, and then they go back to their company and then they look at all these career fairs. This is like central from all colleges, right? But here it is college specific. they come to your college, they keep exams specifically to your college, and then they have some quota. Okay, they say, okay, we'll hire maximum of 10 people from this college.
Okay.
If they feel that 10 people or more have crossed the bar of the company, they'll hire 10 people. And they keep this quota only for your college. It's not like, let's say, college 1 got 10 people. That doesn't affect college 2. That is sort of some benefit over what I found here.
I guess it's kind of top schools will have more quotas, I guess.
Yes. So a lot of companies don't go to a lot of colleges.
True.
Like in India, you have like 5,000 colleges or more, engineering colleges. But these companies go to like 50 colleges.
50?
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe it's more now, but back then it used to be very less. Similar to that, Amazon used to come to our college and then they take both interns as well as full time. I interned there, and then when I interned there, you can like convert it into full time.
True.
And then I got a full time offer. I worked in the same team again. So I worked there for 2 years. I worked in Hyderabad because it was closer to my house. So there was an option that I could work either for Bangalore or Hyderabad. Like when they give you this job offer, they ask you for your preference, like which location you want to like apply. Amazon didn't have choice of team, and I got an internship there. I actually wanted to go to Bangalore, but my father was like, I wanted to try new places. Like I've lived Hyderabad all my life, right? I want to go see some other place, right? But then my dad was like, it's closer to your house. Yes, there it was pretty good actually. The team was pretty nice. We were working on this, this Amazon customer service, right? So they have chat, phone, email. We used to have we are the technical team behind chat, email, and phone for Amazon. Not only just Amazon support, but also all these like Prime Videos, Zappos, and all the affiliates of Amazon, like whatever their third-party services or whatever.
I feel like in Hyderabad there are a lot of customer service support, like people who will support like all of customer complaints from either US, Australia, British.
There is a very large customer support team in Hyderabad. So I mean, usually India is cheap labor, right? And they speak English as well. Most of them speak fluent English, like whoever have like basic education. Even if they're like 10th class pass or whatever, they speak like decent English. So they're able to understand the queries of the customers and answer it. So they have these shift programs, like they have 24-hour support. Like people get worked for 8 hours, or like 9 hours I think, and then they have 3 shifts.
So some people will work in the night.
Yeah, some people will work in the night, some people will work in the afternoon, some people work in the early mornings, and they keep rotating the shift every 3 months.
Nice. I feel like those American companies really give a lot of working opportunities for Indian people.
Yeah, I think India is nicely equipped with cheap labor, plus they understand English.
Yeah, and also have the skills to perform those tasks.
Yeah,
I
think its skill, is pretty much similar to what China has. I think China is probably better in skill because you have, I think if you look at all the manufacturing things, you definitely have natural resources. It is obviously better for you have to have a lot of industries in China. Like for example, take Apple for example. So phones, a lot of them were built in China, right? Like they're manufactured there, they're assembled there.
I have this question. I will get back to you later. And in terms of this like job opportunities, like in especially Hyderabad or some other places of Indian places. So my second question is that how is life in Bay Area? Do you like it, or how do you feel these places?
I guess I personally like it. Like the path you take. Like for example, I'm biking to office twice or thrice a week. The reason why I do it is I go through trails most of the path. It's very beautiful to just look outside and breathe, and then
so you're kind of
air quality is pretty good here. And then like even if you go on roads, right? Like let's say take 280, the other highway. It is filled with a lot of greenery. So I think that part I really like here. Like there's a lot of forests very close by you can go to, and then
also it's a great.
Yeah, they're very scenic. I think that's so. First time I've come here, I didn't have a car, so I used to come by G-bus. I never used to open laptop. Like it used to take like easily 30-40 minutes to come from Redwood City. I used to stay in Redwood City, right? I used to just sit there and stare outside. It used to be so nice. And then this was during COVID, right? This was in 2021. Not a lot of people are doing work from office. The road used to be very empty. So I used to drive very fast. So just used to sit and stare outside. So nice. It's just trees passing by. And
Yeah, I guess people like came here, especially for me from China, where there are a lot of places that also we are in a high speed of constructing and
Right.
those placement stuff like that. But one thing I noticed that in China there are more of those cities that have those skyrocket buildings, and they when I came here, it's kind of like rural places where
Yes.
just some buildings with lower floors. And but if you are the natural guy, I think if you want to see more of those natural things, definitely here is a place
Yes.
that you can go to, say Death Valley or a lot of national parks.
Yeah,
This would
I think that is one of the reason I don't want to live in San Francisco. Is because most of San Francisco, at least the downtown area, is like very tall buildings, and you cannot see anything other than those buildings. That is pretty much what Hyderabad is.
That's one major feature in Silicon Valley is that people, like if you talk to people in the street, when you talk to strangers, I guess most of them are either software engineers or hardware engineers or some sort of engineers related to computers and internet stuff. How you choose your careers as a software engineer? Why not some others? Is that because you have this motivation, or what kind of?
There is a joke in India that if you want to become something in life, like let's say you want to become a musician,
Sure.
or maybe you want to become an actor or whatever, right?
Sure.
You first do engineering and then you become whatever you want. If you want to do that's because I think it comes from cultural background that India is very poor, right?
Sure.
Like as a society, as people living there, India is a poor country relatively to the other world scale, right? The primary fundamental thing Indians have is they want to have good food, good shelter, good life, right?
Sure.
The motivation of it is you need to have a job. India is not a country which is very risk taking. Like they want safer jobs, like lot of jobs which give you like lot of safety is government jobs.
True.
Before this tech boom or before this privatization, everybody used to try for government jobs.
Is that because more stable? Or?
Yeah, it's because nobody fires you from government job. Once you are there, unless you test tried badly, nobody will fire you. Like you're set for life, and then you get pension on top of it. Like when you retire, they give you monthly pension based on whatever your job role is.
True.
It is a very safe job.
Gives me this feeling. India and China are really
Very similar, yes.
really similar in terms of not only populations or some other like
Yes,
culture and
culture,
stuff like that. Just speaking of which, I know you have this goal of retiring at 35. Can I know like why you set such a, from my perspective, it's kind of a tight deadline.
Yes.
Giving yourself like 35, I have to like retire. I don't want to do any job after 35. So what motivates you or what makes you think that way?
I actually don't remember how this started, but what I remember is like whatever job I was doing, I one day sat down, and then when I was studying college in university, I never wanted to become like software engineer. Like the course which I took, right? It was not computer science course. It is like a generic communication, electronics, and computer science course. Like it is a mix of all this. It's like there is no curriculum per se. There's like only first year there was like a syllabus, and everything else is like electives. You can choose to take whatever course you like. Initially I wanted to become an electrical engineer or electronics engineer, where I used to play a lot of games when I was younger, like computer video games. I always wanted to work with NVIDIA, but I never made it there. Maybe I should go. NVIDIA used to come to our college to hire people like for the placements. So I always wanted to work for NVIDIA because I used to buy their graphics cards when I was younger. These GeForce GTX cards. So I always fascinated that okay, I want to build these. This was always a drive for me that I wanted to like become like a silicon engineer, where I build these graphics cards more efficiently so that like people like me can buy it. Or I wanted to become that when I was like searching for colleges in university, and I wanted to become electronics engineer. And then I came to this college, and then I had an option to choose whatever. I could become a communications engineer, I could become an electronics engineer, or I could become computer science engineer. But then I got lazy in college. I never attended classes, or there was a time where I had to choose something, otherwise I would have not gotten any job or anything. And because I was not attending any classes, it became very hard for me to learn these semiconductor courses or anything on my own. And I saw that I went to one of these algorithmics course, and I felt it was very easy. Like there is nothing to do. Like it's just some bunch of rules. You just have to apply them, and then it works, right? So I thought, okay, this computer is very easy, and then I started taking computer courses. Like I took algorithms course, and then I gave the interview to Amazon, and then I got selected.
Nice.
And then I was like, okay, do this, and they pay very well as well, right? So I was like, okay, I'll not join Nvidia, and then I'll just do Amazon. That's how I got stuck here. And because I don't know anything other than computer science, I cannot switch jobs as well. Maybe I can like go back to education and then do that, but again, it's very difficult to do. So I got stuck here. Then one day I sort of sat and thought, like, do I really want to do this until I'm 60 years or whatever? Work never excited me that, okay, this is something I want to do for like 30 more years or whatever, right? Then I was like, okay, what do I want to do? Then I realized, okay, the reason I'm doing a job is because I want to earn money to do the things I like, which is traveling, or like I like to garden. I have a lot of trees in my apartment. So in the space of my apartment, I have a lot of trees. So like that. So what I felt is if I don't have to do this job, I can spend more time doing what I like, which is like learning something. Like I want to learn carpentry. Dream is I want to build a house where I want to be involved very much. Yes. Like I will employ engineers and architecture people so that they build it correctly, but I want to input a lot of details into it also. So that was one of the things I want to do, and it is hard to do if you have like 8 hours job. In our job, it's not just 8 hours, right? You might have on call, you might have whatever, right? Deadlines and what. I felt it's very limiting that you're not focusing on what you want to do because you have this day job. Then I sat and then I thought, okay, how much money do I want to say that I don't want to work? And then I realized I need like 12 crores in Indian rupees.
So how much in
2.5 million.
2.5 million, okay.
If I have that, I felt that it will be enough that I can live a luxurious life in India.
Sure, yeah.
So that is my preliminary mathing. So hopefully I will get to that number in 5 more years, because my wife is also working, I am also working, and if we are lucky, some stocks go. Maybe we'll do it by 35. If not, maybe by 37 or something. But again, I don't have kids now. If I have kids, maybe that equation will change. I don't know.
But still, saying $2 million is still a lot of money in India.
Yes, I feel it's a lot of money.
I guess I have like 2 or 3 left. So the next thing is that how's like the tech industry growing in Hyderabad? Because coming back to the question, because at the starting we are talking about how job growth or popular growth in Hyderabad, and also it gives me this feeling that more and more jobs are outsourcing from say American to the Indian. So how do you see those tech job growth in Hyderabad?
Definitely, like see, I think the fundamental profit is one, there are a lot of engineers in India, some skilled, some unskilled, right? Because engineering is the de facto. If you don't know what to do in life, you do engineering in India. It's like that. I'm not even exaggerating. That's how many engineers are there in India.
What about the doctor and the lawyers?
Doctor is a very costly affair. It takes a lot of effort to become a doctor. Engineering is just 4 years, right? If you finish bachelor's, you can become an engineer and you can get some job, right? But if you want to become a decent doctor, you first have to do MBBS, which is 4 years, and then you have to do some specialization on top of it. And then also in India, the number of medical colleges are less. And then government colleges, government funded medical colleges are even less, and it's very hard to get into. There's a lot of competition, and also you have to study for like 12 years. You have to do MBBS, then you have to do some practice, then you have to do masters, and after that you will become some doctor, which is worthwhile. It's a lot of education and it costs a lot of money. It's a lot of investment also. Unless you're very passionate, people don't take that. And engineering is very cheap. Everybody becomes an engineer. So there's a lot of people here, and then because of these outsourcing jobs in 1990s and 2000s, people knew that okay, India can do these software roles and whatnot. That's how a lot of roles come to India. And then India has a lot of population also.
True.
Yeah, ever demand, ever supply.
Yeah,
a lot of engineers.
Yeah,
so I think, and also cost, labor is very cheap, right? Like that is like my 10 days salary here.
How's let's say level 4, level 5 engineers and who compared to the salaries, what's the time difference? What's the difference between the Indian engineers who are level 4 and the engineers who are
I think an L5
like 2 or 3 times, or like how many times difference?
easily 3 times. I think.
3 times.
Yeah, easily. I think if you bargain a lot and then you have multiple competing offers, maybe you will get 100k or 110k for an L5 in India, which is a lot of money in India, by the way.
Sure.
From the Indian standards, like it's a lot of money. You will be in top 1% of India. But yeah, like for a company, it's very profitable, right? Here, if somebody gets hired in US for an L5, they get a lot of joining stocks and a lot of money they'll have to give. So it's easily 3 times or maybe 4 times also.
Yeah, I guess cost is one of the factors that the companies compare.
So you're getting equal skills, right? You see a lot of Indians working in US Google as well, right?
Sure.
You can hire the same person in India for much cheaper price. So why not?
Yeah, I can see this trend of shifting those labors between here and there. I guess that leads to my final question. Is I'm really like curious about because when I went study and go outside the world, go outside of China, and I found out that Indian people in general have really good English communication skills. Is that because you have English as your primary language when teaching, or is that because some other like factors that leads to
Mostly that, like I said, no, we have 2 schools. One is local medium school where the common language you speak, like let's say somebody wants to teach maths or like physics or social studies, in the local language school, they'll teach you in the local language, like in Telugu for my state. But then in the English medium schools, all the other courses, other than the primary class, which is Telugu class, everything else will be taught in English. So you'll speak in English with your other people, like other students will speak in English.
so they're not speaking local language.
Some schools are very strict that if you're in school, you have to speak in English, otherwise they beat you. Yeah, I got beat so many times. Like I used to speak in Telugu and then they used to catch me and then beat me. In India, yeah, school teachers and principals and whatnot, they beat children. Like that's very common. Like they beat the shit out of you. It's not common here.
So that's the reason why. Because that's a pattern where I found really interesting that when I talk to Indian people and
yeah, a lot of people. I mean, all the higher education in India happens in English, independent of whether your primary education happened in local language or not. Like all the universities, I think there is hardly like 1 or 2 universities where it might be taught in Hindi or whatnot. But all the major engineering colleges or anything, they are taught in English only. Like the whole syllabus is English, books are in English, you write in English, you speak in English. So that's why a lot of people, even if they don't learn English when they are younger, they are sort of forced to learn English when they are. Even in job also, the common language is English only.
So I guess that's one of really competitive advantages that Indian people have when they go travel either to US, Australia, like Canada, also British, those places. I can have already this. So it kind of seems to me people move to the US or move to Canada. It just seems like move to a different state of India because they just like the language is the same, just like culture is different. It's not compared to I was in China, like here because we use Mandarin as a primary language, and if we transfer to a different country, you'll be completely different compared to people like from India who the language is same. So you can talk to people, you can ask for help if you need some thing. But that's really one of patterns I noticed.
I think language is not a problem for most of the Indians. Even if they don't speak very good English, like for how let's say an American speaks, right? Definitely the English quality will not be as good, but you will be able to communicate your problems and then you will be able to understand what the person is saying. Like maybe if you have to hear twice or maybe something, but you will be able to navigate your life more easily for Indians. I think that is why a lot of Indians would prefer US or maybe Australia or English speaking countries than maybe Europe countries, right? Like for example in Switzerland, right? If you want citizenship or whatever, I think you will have to learn basic German or whatever.